With the UN climate conference going on in Poland right now, we ask the question, are you a globalist or an Americanist? I'm Robin Kinderman and you're watching JBS Straight Talk. This week, the United Nations is hosting its 24th annual Conference of the Parties, or COP24, in Katowice, Poland, where the temperature this week has been averaging at a sweltering 30 degrees. The conference is intended to save the world from alleged human-caused climate change. In fact, when Al Gore arrived the other day to warn the world about the dangers of increasing global temperatures and melting ice caps, it was snowing. What an inconvenient truth. So how does the UN intend to go about saving the world from this climate catastrophe? Through fear-mongering, of course. It's through fear that they plan to get the world population to accept more onerous UN mandates and sustainable development policies, such as taxes on fuel consumption, which is working really well for France. The UN doesn't just want to tax your gasoline. According to a recent special report put out by the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, it states in part, triggering rapid and far-reaching change in technical choices and institutional arrangements, consumption and lifestyles, infrastructure, land use and spatial patterns implies the ability to scale up policy signals to enable the decoupling of GHGs emission and economic growth and development. Such a scale-up would also imply that potential short-term negative responses by populations and interest groups that could block these changes from the outset would need to be prevented or overcome. In other words, the UN wants to make radical changes to all aspects of human life, which they know will lead to immediate backlash, which will need to be prevented or overcome. Or to put it more bluntly, do what we say or else. Globalist world leaders, politicians, UN dignitaries, and non-governmental organizations are using this report as the basis for this year's speeches at COP24, which is expected to culminate in a further report outlining their recommendations on how to implement the findings from the IPCC report, as well as the Paris Climate Accord, which President Trump announced the U.S. would be withdrawing from, but has yet to do so. Hopefully, Trump will follow through with that promise as the U.S. is still participating in the accord. This insanity underscores the need for America's exit from the UN. Right now, Congress is sitting on Representative Mike Rogers' bill, H.R. 193, the American Sovereignty Restoration Act, which is co-sponsored by Representative Thomas Massie. This bill would terminate our U.S. membership and participation in the UN, effectively repealing the original United Nations Participation Act of 1945. If House and Senate Republicans are truly serious about reducing government and safeguarding our sovereignty, then passing this bill would be a perfect opportunity for them to put their rhetoric to practice. This is where we need you to call your representative and senators and tell them to get us out of the UN. With your support, we can apply enough pressure on Congress to vote in favor of American independence and liberty. To learn more, check out our Get Us Out of the UN action page on jbs.org. The John Birch Society has been the leading voice for the United States' departure from the UN for 60 years, and we're not giving up now. Until next time, take care and God bless.